The year is 1527. Deep beneath the Erzgebirge Mountains on the border of Saxony and Bohemia, a miner named Hans drops his pickaxe and refuses to move. His foreman screams. His family waits above, hungry. But Hans will not take another step forward into that tunnel, because something, had whispered his name from behind the rock wall, and every miner in that shaft knows exactly what that means. You do not answer, you do not look, and above all else, you never ever say its name back. This is the story of the Kobold, and it is far darker than any fairy tale. Across the deep forests of Western Europe, the Black Forest of Germany, the ancient woodlands of France, the mist-covered highlands of the Swiss Alps, there existed a terror that no sword could kill and no prayer could silence. Long before the Age of Enlightenment scrubbed the wilderness clean of its monsters, miners, woodcutters, and travelers understood one absolute truth. The old forests were not empty. They were watching. The Catholic Church called them demons. Alchemists called them elemental spirits. But the common people, the ones who actually descended into the earth every morning, the ones whose children depended on every ounce of silver they pulled from the dark, they had a simpler name. A name they whispered only in daylight, only above ground, and only when absolutely necessary. Kobold. But here is what historians rarely tell you. It was not fear of the creature itself that kept miners silent. It was something far more terrifying. The knowledge of what happened to the men who spoke freely. The Kobold is no simple goblin. Ancient Germanic manuscripts from the 12th and 13th centuries describe them as shape-shifting spirits bound to specific locations, a mine, a forest hollow, a crossroads deep in the trees. They were neither fully evil nor fully good. They were, in the language of the old witches who negotiated with them, conditional. They demanded recognition. They demanded silence and respect. And they demanded that no human ever presume to own the ground where they dwelled. The mining guilds of the 16th century had entire unwritten codes built around kobold behavior. If your candle went out for no reason, stop walking. If you heard knocking inside the stone where there was no other miner, mark the wall and back away slowly. If your ore cart moved on its own, leave your tools and go home. These were not superstitions. These were survival protocols, passed from master to apprentice, like instructions for handling explosive powder. The witch covens of the surrounding forests served as the primary negotiators between human communities and the kobold. These covens, largely composed of women who had inherited deep botanical and spiritual knowledge, were the only ones who knew how to approach a kobold without triggering its wrath. They used specific herbs burned at midnight. They spoke in old High German dialects that even most humans of the era could no longer understand. They left offerings of iron, bread, and the blood of small animals at the forest's edge, and in exchange, the kobolds would allow the mines to produce. They would knock warnings before a collapse. They would guide lost miners back to light. But when this agreement was broken, when a miner laughed at the old ways, when a foreman pressed workers past the warning signs, when a greedy merchant demanded deeper tunnels without proper ritual, the kobold became something else entirely. The Schneeberg mining disaster of 1533 was officially recorded as a structural collapse. 31 men died in a single afternoon, but the survivors' testimonies, preserved in a regional church archive and largely ignored by mainstream historians, tell a different story. 3 days before the collapse, a young foreman named Dietrich had openly mocked an elder miner who refused to proceed past a certain tunnel junction. Dietrich said, loudly in front of witnesses, that the kobold was a lie invented by lazy men. He spoke the name, twice, and laughed. On the third day, the mountain answered, "Here is the twist that changes everything." The German word kobold is the direct linguistic ancestor of the English word cobalt. The toxic, silver-colored ore that poisoned medieval miners and ruined their smelting furnaces or they could not understand and could not process. They named it after the creature they believed was sabotaging their work. The kobold was leaving poison in the rock. For centuries, miners inhaled cobalt dust and died of mysterious lung diseases, blaming the spirit in the mountain. They were not entirely wrong. The monster had a name, and the name was chemistry. But the fear was completely real.